Yeah, you sound good. You sound real good.
Great.
Cool, man. Hey, guys. Oh, I hope I didn't mess that up. Okay. No, I'm going to turn my light on. Guys, welcome to another episode of Well That's Something Podcast. I'm your host, Ian Hilton, and today I have a really awesome guest. His name is Matthew Mulford. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So I know you are the OG that came on my podcast back in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, you've had some before me too.
I did, but I'm relating to those podcasts because I started in 2018. And like you, Chris, Ryan Fraser, Christopher Regan, I love you all. They were the ones that kind of like came on and like we kind of shaped the podcast and kind of where I am, you know.
Awesome.
So appreciate you coming on and you know, I always thought of you as a guy that kind of had this like screw it mentality. Let's do it. You know, like you've always struck me as a guy that it's like, I don't care, we're gonna try it because, you know, something good can come out of this, something bad can come out of this, but I want to do it anyways just to get the experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say I still live by that today, for sure.
Yeah. So you're still in Florida though, right?
Still Florida. More specifically, you know, Altamont. Bought a house a year and a half ago.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that.
Living the homeowner dream.
Yeah, it looks nice, man. It's a nice house.
Thank you. Yeah, got a chance to do a lot of renovations and you know, bought a little starter house.
Yeah. And you're not near like any sinkholes, right?
Near any what?
Sinkholes?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
No. Yeah, no, it's a really nice neighborhood. Really cool.
Oh, cool.
Lots of trees around, a big backyard for my dog.
Yeah. Dude, I love your husky, dude. He or she? He's beautiful.
Thank you.
The only thing is, like, I would want... Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. My dogs are jealous right now. But, now, I would want a husky, but not as a puppy. How was Lucius as a puppy?
They're a lot of work. You know, I had read about before getting him. I've had him since 2 months old, and I kind of knew what I was getting myself into when getting him, but not to the full effect. Tons of energy. They need a lot of exercise. Like, we still go walking for 3 miles a day, every day.
Wow.
And, you know, that's kind of like on the low end from what I'm understanding from other owners. It's like they're doing 6 and 7 miles, and it's no problem. The dogs just want to keep going. So that's why we got the backyard, so he can run around.
Yeah, throw the ball. That's like my dog. I have a German Shepherd, and she gets so depressed if we don't go out to the dog park because, you know, we full-time RV here, and there's like a dog run like down the street there, and I tell you, if we don't go because of, like, you know, crappy weather, like raining or whatever, she gets so depressed. She will like hide in her bedroom and won't come out. We're like, come on, Luna, come here.
Aww.
Come here, Luna. And like, I feel so bad, like we want to take her out, but we can't because it's so crappy out. But I believe depression has dogs too. Like, for real.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I feel terrible when he doesn't get his 2 walks in a day. It really doesn't affect him that much, but it's like, oh man, I'm sorry, bud. It's been raining all day. We can't go do this.
I know. Does he talk back to you? Does he have the...
He is. Yeah, he's very vocal. He has tons of personality. You know, he'll shove his head in the corner of the couch and pout and all sorts of stuff. It's like a little child at some time. It's really funny.
I love it. Yeah. That's cool, man. So, hey, what are you doing for a job now? As if I'm your dad. I feel like I'm like a dad interviewing with son. What are you doing for a job now?
Yeah, so I've been at the same company coming up on 7 years.
So you're still working for that sports company? No way, you're still doing that?
Still doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I've worked my way up there. Like I said, senior software engineer. I'm actually the development lead of a team of engineers. So I got a lot on my plate. My weekdays are just insane, full, just jam-packed all throughout that. But I really love what we're doing. So
that's so cool. So did you go to school for that?
I did, for a 2-year university, and then I got a 1-year certificate, and then I honestly dropped out of UCF after going for 2 semesters because the price was just insane.
Ridiculous.
Like for the first college I was going to, classes were like 600, and then going to UCF, one class was like 2,100.
Oh my God!
So it was quite a jump.
I'm paying, well, the VA's paying, sorry. The VA's paying $798, I think, don't quote me on that, but close to it, per class at Arkansas State University.
I don't think that's bad at all. I think that's very palpable. A couple grand for the same class that you could be taking is just insane to me.
For real. $2,100 though, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think Chris told me UCF stands for you can't finish.
Monetarily for me it was. Honestly, it was a great decision and it paid off great for me.
Cool.
But same as not everybody can have the same story.
That's the thing too, man. It's like, my dad went to a construction college, right? In New Jersey or New York or something like that, somewhere in the Upper East, and he never completed, but he ended up making, like, he was a project manager for a huge company in Winter Park, Florida. He never finished, so but right now he's retired, but when he was doing construction, he was a project manager, and so he kept telling me, like, I want you to go to college, I want you to do this and do that, I was like, I really do want to finish. I really do, but I'm like, but the thing I struggle with the most is that when you get out of high school, why am I doing high school over again for almost 2 years? Again. Like, what's the point of that? That's so dumb. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not what I want to do. I'm I'm taking biology. My major's in creative media. What does biology have to do with creative media? I'm sure this is like an overspoken thing, but that's just my.
No, I went through the same thing, and ultimately that led me to get the 1-year certificate. And it's different for every industry, but having that thirst to learn and continue to drive yourself into learning more is kind of what drives technology. And a lot of other industries as well, but as far as software engineer, you never stop learning. Like, you kind of get more tools in your box over the years, but that learning never stops because it is constantly evolving.
So is that what you went to school for? Software engineer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Computer science.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's that's something I would never ever want to dabble into. That doesn't sound. I'm sure it's fun for you, but not for me. That doesn't sound fun at all.
I can't even say it was fun. It was very tedious. So tons of work. Now it is fun. I really love everything that we're doing, and it's very weird to work for a sports company. I'm not a big sports fan, but the technology is very fascinating.
Yeah. That's so what are you doing now? What are you doing for the company? Because I remember I talked to you on the podcast 2 years ago or more, and you were the guy that was putting the numbers up on the live stream, like the timing and stuff like that, and then you had the score. You took it on the live feed and stuff like that. So what are you doing now?
Yeah. So it's kind of evolved from that, but pretty close in the same realm. The team I run is called the Sport Data Team, and what they're in charge of, or what we're in charge of, is all of the data ingest for the company as a whole, and getting that data to the rest of the company. There's several teams. So there's websites and there's live streams going on, and presenting that data to all of these different teams so that they can consume it and display it, like in an app. When you're on an app, you can see scores updating live, or you're watching a live stream and you're seeing a scoreboard. Like, we also control that, but the scores and all the stats that are showing up on your screen, all that data is being presented by us. So it's just the other teams in the company consuming that data.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have an app?
Yeah, so the company's called Flow Sports, and it would just be a Flow Sports app, but they're on Roku and Apple TV and every major streaming platform, I guess.
Yeah. That's nuts, man. Because, I don't ever... So, with you having that job, are you learning a lot more about sports and how...
Yes, I know a lot more about sports than what I thought, and the one I know the most of, because it was one of the hardest to build for myself, was actually bowling. So we have rights owned by Professional Bowling Association, which used to be on ESPN, and those rights came over to us, and that was really crazy to learn all the intricacies about that. You know, it looks really simple on the surface, but when you dive down into it, it's really complex sport.
Yeah, because you have to know the score, you have to know the lane, or not the lane, you have to know, Jesus, like, you have to learn, if he's gonna strike. I mean, gee, I'm talking so simple here, but when it comes to annotating each player's score, it's got to be something else, you know, because like you have to learn like what a strike is or because my wife and I just went bowling recently. I'm like trying to just do a strike every single time. I'm like, oh, I got a double.
That's the goal.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think like, yeah, like this is like basketball where I make a hoop every single time and I get 2 points or 3 points, but it's so intricate, you know, with bowling.
Yeah, and also, you know, there's the complexities of what the graphics are supposed to do. You know, being on that level of professionals, the graphics are expected to look a certain way, and so, you know, you can't have numbers showing when there's supposed to be a strike or an X or, you know, a spare, because it shouldn't be showing up until a certain point when it's allowed to be. So you have to build in all this logic for scoring, when it's supposed to calculate, and when the scoreboards are supposed to change and stuff.
You know, it'd be so funny if somebody did like a no-hitter, and like you go back to like the 90s computer screens that are hanging up on the wall like an average bowler, but it's like those 90s graphics where like a pinball is walking over and the bowling ball like stops and then hits the gutter. If you guys started doing that, that'd be so funny.
Yeah. So with that, it's really cool. You know, there's a lot of integrations that we have with third-party companies, and, you know, it kind of feeds into our company software that we've built. And, you know, I can go on my computer and I can connect to like an AMF bowling lane, like anywhere in the world, and connect to some lanes and start getting data from those lanes. It's pretty cool. Okay,
so hold on. So you are also monitoring other sports that's going on around the world too?
We could. The potential's there, but, you know, it's only for rights that we own for the games, but it's integrated with third-party software. It's called Lane Talk. That is a industry standard for bowling, and it integrates with the bowling lanes. Like when you go to any bowling lane, it's possible that it is linked up with Lane Talk. So it's just connecting to that bowling, wherever that building is, connecting to the lane, and you can start getting data from that lane. Giving vision, giving love to underserved sports. So, you know, you think about marching band, it's one of them. You know, drumline and DCI, like that's something we cover. Bowling mentioned. Dirt racing, like dirt track racing, is another really large one.
With motorized bikes or no, just cycling?
Like cars, like motorized cars.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Almost like Destruction Derby style, but, you know, not Destruction Derby. They're just on a dirt track to go around the dirt track.
Yeah.
You know, cheer and varsity, gymnastics, those are some other really big sports that the company covers.
That's awesome. So I want to take a turn. So you're in a band, right? Because I texted you, I think I texted you on, was it Friday, I think? I texted you on Friday and be like, hey, no, Thursday, and I was like, hey, when's a good time to do the show? And you said, I'm pretty much free on Sunday, but but you're doing band practice, like pretty much almost every day in a way, right?
Not every day, just on Saturdays. You know, everyone's busy in their professional careers, and, you know, Saturday is kind of the day for us.
So are you kind of just staying local, or are you touring?
Yeah, so no touring, but this band, American Party Machine's the name. They've been a local band for quite some time. They're old musician friends of mine, well, the vocalist and guitarist, and I met them on a tour 10 years ago when we were going off to New York, and I was hired as a drummer for another band, and American Party Machine was the band that they were going as a sister band up this tour through New York. So I became friends with Aaron and Dave way back when, and, you know, we've always been loose musician friends throughout the years, and I contacted them about 3 years ago, and I was like, hey, if you guys want a drummer and want to come back, I'd be happy to do that for you. So I've been drumming for 3 years for them.
Wow. So your band, I didn't hear you the first time, I'm sorry, I'm super deaf. You can blame Afghanistan for that. It's called All American Party.
Just American Party Machine.
That's the best name ever for a metal band. Right, your metal?
Yeah, so we got a lot of talented people that I'm playing with. We got Aaron and Dave that I mentioned. We got Dan, the bassist, and Aisha on guitar. She's just killing it as a local musician. You know, she is a full-time musician, so she does American Party Machine kind of on the side.
Yeah.
And, you know, 4 or 5 nights a week, she's out playing acoustic guitar and singing at all tons of places.
Yeah. So you guys been together for 3 years?
3 years I've been drumming for them. Yeah.
So,
they've been a band for a while though.
Oh, okay. So, okay, cool. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I know I said this before on the podcast back in like 2018, but I know you don't remember this, but I'm gonna refresh your memory. I'm gonna refresh it. Tristan was in the passenger seat. Tristan was paying me for an accident that he kind of ruined my car, but it's okay. It's fine. It's all forgiven. He was like, "Hey, have you heard Matthew Mulford's band?" I was like, and Chris has been, when we were friends back, and we're still friends, but like when Chris and I were in a band back in Orlando a long time ago, and he had mentioned you. They're like, dude, Matt can like kill the double bass, because at the time I could not do double bass to save my life. I had no double leg coordination to save my life. So, so cut to you, Tristan, in the Sam's Club parking lot, because I think Tristan just got off work. I'm sitting there, and Tristan goes, "Hey, have you heard Matthew Mulford band?" And I said, "No." I'm like, "Here, go to the car and listen to it." I was like, "Okay." And I think it was a CD or something like that, he put it in there, and it was just like, all right. And then, like, I heard like the double bass was like, and I was like, okay, I get it, cool. Then it was like, it blew my mother effing mind, dude. It was, you like, your drumming styles, I've seen that you posted videos on Instagram, and I'm so jealous because I full-time RV and I can't afford a drum set in here. I miss drumming, I really do. But you are such a good metal drummer. You were born to do that, dude. I really hope that at one day that you don't have to work for this company anymore, and that you can find a full-time band and do this, because that's what you were made to do. I can see it. I can see when you play like you're just, you don't even look at the camera. You're just so in tune to your drum set. You know exactly where everything is. I mean, I bet you can even play with your eyes closed or blindfolded.
Sure. I don't disagree with you there, and it would be lovely to be able to go out and do that full time. I did tour for many years, and it ultimately boiled down that it didn't pay the bills. So now I'm more on the fun side of it, and really loving it. We do practice at my house. I can kind of.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
So there's our practice room.
Oh,
everything's
my God,
all
dude. Yeah,
set up. So
that is my dream. You lucky son of a... I'm just kidding. I love you.
And you were probably talking about this CD from back in the day. This is there would be one of those. So I got all my tour.
The red one
and stuff up there.
The red CD.
Yep, the red one. That would have been it.
What's the name on that one?
Lesser Ritual.
Yes. I remember that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
and it looks like you got that published and everything. Did you guys get a record deal at that time or no?
No record deal.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we just. I have all that stuff throughout the years.
Wow.
Just, historical data from me. It's nice to look at and remind myself.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, dude. No, that was so cool. So I want to talk about touring. So, where have you gone for touring?
So Wisteria was the band that I mainly toured with, and that was really heavily from 2009 to 2012. And, I've been all around the United States touring. I don't honestly have to go up to some of my tour passes and pick out some key places, but basically name a state and I've toured in it. So I'll just look at a couple here. We got, I'll just start going down the list. Tampa, Florida, Pearson, Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Trenton, New Jersey, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Boston, Massachusetts, Cleveland, Ohio, like everywhere, man. San Antonio, Texas, New Orleans.
Holy smokes! So you, after it sounds like at 1 year, you were going more west.
Yeah, so one tour was all the way up the East Coast, and then we've had some other tours that traveled a little bit more west. But it's tons of good memories there.
I'm sure, man. So, were you like the stereotypical, like, in a Dodge, like, not Econ, but like a Dodge Caravan, like the 18-seater with a trailer?
Yeah, exactly. Like a 15-passenger van with a trailer behind us that had all of our gear. We had transformed the back part of that van to have like some cots so that we could lay down in that. And dude, it is really exhausting. You know, everyone thinks of tour of being like fun times, but unless you're a professional, like fully paid record deal signed band, it's a lot of work. It's just exhausting to go through that. But I was living that.
I'm sure, and I bet like after how was the smell after each concert when you're all sweating? You just hang your shirts out the window and stuff?
Yeah, well, it's really funny. You know, you don't really know where you're staying at the end of every night. Sometimes you would pay for a hotel, and
okay.
You know, some nights you're just asking fans, "Hey, we don't have somewhere to stay. Does anyone want to house us?" And you know, there's a lot of nice people out there that would
we're kind of homeless.
I'll let you go to their house and crash for that.
Yeah, we're kind of homeless. We don't really want to sleep in our vans tonight. Do you mind if you have like an extra room?
yeah, exactly. And it'd be amazing when people would step up and do that, because you know we've also had plenty of nights where you're sleeping in a van in like a Walmart parking lot.
And you know what? That's so funny that Walmart accepts people like that. As long as you don't park like up close to the store and park in the back, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, that's nuts. So I want to know, because I had my last podcast, I had Alex Hallowell. He went to Oviedo High School, and he also toured with a punk band, and he was basically doing the same thing you guys were doing. And he ended up in California. He's there now.
Cool.
And so I asked him, and I want to ask you too, like, what was the craziest show that you had where people were just going nuts?
Oh man, craziest show? There's some really even ones. There's like Ground Zero in South Carolina was really nuts. It's a pretty famous venue.
Yeah.
We had a really fun one in Little Rock, Arkansas. That was...
Dude, I'm like 2 hours away from Little Rock.
Oh wow. So that was a wild one. We had played in Georgia. I don't remember exactly where in Georgia one night, and then we had a show in Little Rock 2 days later, and we're like, well, do we stay an extra day in Georgia, or do we just book it to Little Rock? And It was Christmas Eve, and we just flying through the mountains on the way to Little Rock to get there for the show, and it was really cold that day, and a lot of people came out. We ended up renting a room at the Peabody Hotel, and just being young whippersnapper kids, we had brought a bunch of M80 fireworks with us, and lit those off in the bathroom. We're throwing on each other, just being hooligans.
That's cool.
But Ground Zero is one that is really poignant in my mind, and another one would be at the Masquerade in Georgia, and that's probably the best that I was ever treated. Not just me, the whole band, I would say. Is we had our guarantee paid to us up front. We got to play on the best stage there, so it's the venue has changed a little bit, to my understanding, in the recent years, but it used to be set up where the basement was hell. It was called Hell, and then or Purgatory. I'm sorry, Purgatory.
Okay.
And then there was Hell was a little bit bigger stage, and then the top place was called Heaven, and that was the biggest stage. Below us, there was a pop punk tour, so you have, I don't know, name some famous punk rock bands, and they were playing below us. And
they were in Hell. They were in Hell.
Yeah, they were playing. And so Heaven's really cool because it's like on the second story of this venue that you can't really bring gear up to, so they lower this like drawbridge or elevator down so that you can load your gear onto it and lift it up into there. And we had our own private green room where the rest of the bands were sharing another green room. We had food given to us the whole night, free drinks. Like I said, our guarantee paid up front. It was a really nice experience.
Dude, that's awesome. They had an elevator to lift up your gear?
Yeah.
Dude, that's nuts.
It was really cool. So I think it's in 3 different buildings now. They have 3 separate buildings, whereas when we went, it was all just like one large building.
So it's all one connected building.
Yeah.
Dude, it's kind of like
so
like first story, second story, third story, kind of going up, I guess.
Yeah, right. So you can walk downstairs from our show and go into the pop punk show.
Wow. So can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So touring like you were at the highest you were, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, and I'll cut this out if you want to. How much were you getting paid?
You know, it's not a lot. A lot of it's off of merch. I think our guarantee for that show was $1,000.
And split between.
But split between 5 people. You know, you're just making pennies. But it's all about the experience and the fun and getting yourself out there.
For sure. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is getting like by word of mouth. It sounds like you guys were more getting promoted out of word of mouth, because I've been friends with you on Facebook for a while, and you would post things every once in a while, but it wasn't like you didn't have some guy or some girl like doing your media, you know. So it sounds like, and I believe that every musician should start out that way, by word of mouth, or every band should be started with word of mouth, just because you're not. I mean, yeah, it's good to use social media. It's really great. I'm thankful for it. But at the same time, if you can make it by word of mouth, that's old school.
Yeah, well, Wisteria was big in the MySpace days, you know.
Oh my God,
going to
MySpace.
Throwback. So,
yes.
So we were just rocking on MySpace, and you know, it's guerrilla promotion, just like you were mentioning. You know, days off weren't days off. It was going to a mall or going somewhere where there's going to be a lot of people, just so we could spread the word about the show that night or in the next day. It's just nonstop putting yourself out there.
So you guys had a manager, like a tour manager, to?
Yeah, so we actually signed to a record label called Matchless Records, and they would help us out. And ultimately, that kind of was the demise of Wisteria, as we were kind of promised some money that we didn't get. But before that, it was all word of mouth, and merch is really, really huge. Like, that's where you make your most money is
really?
merch usually. Yeah.
Did you when iTunes and like Spotify came out, did you put your music on there? Did you all put your music on there?
I think Wisteria would have ended before that. We were on iTunes, and you know, you get paid quarterly off of iTunes. But it's nothing to write home about, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My current band, American Party Machine, is on all major distributions. You go to any streaming, and it's there, you know, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora. I know there's tons of others. Tidal. There's tons of others out there. So it goes through like one singular distribution area, I think, called the Orchard, and Orchard pushes it out to all of these major streaming services.
That makes sense. Heck yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get on Buzzsprout to where like I can get on iTunes and Spotify just with audio.
Yeah.
But it's like $15 a month, and I can't really afford that right now. But YouTube is my friend.
Sometime it'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. Yeah. But hey man, I really just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Like you're one of the guys that is so easy to talk to, and you have a lot to say. You have a lot to share. You have a lot to experiences that are very interesting. We're definitely gonna have to do this show again sometime, because I have so many other questions to ask you. But I'm at 31 minutes, and I edit and do all the podcasting here. I'm the host and the lighting and engineer and all that good stuff like that. And editing is something else. It's
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know.
My eyes bleed when I have to sit there and like make cuts. So, Matthew Mulford, tell everybody what you got going on, and yeah, what do you have going on right now? Or upcoming?
Well, coming up, May 28th, we got a big show, Hurricane Party in Stanford with American Party Machine. Come out and have some fun with us. There's more shows coming. We got a CD coming out really soon as well. So be looking forward to that. Other than that, just living life here.
Heck yeah. Hey man, I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate you.
Hey, we'll definitely talk again for sure.
Cool. And really great seeing you, Ian.
Yeah, dude. Hey, don't hang up. Don't hang up.